Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
We're going to remove some of this weather stripping from both sides. You just slide it up. There's little clips that hold it in. Just slide it like that. Just pull it back. We just want to pull it back to there. That's good enough, and we'll do the same for the other side. Just slide it up and slide it back. And that's good right there. We're going to remove these 6 retainer clips. One here, there, all around. I'm going to use a trim tool to remove them. So just slide underneath, pull the clip off. We'll do the same for the other ones. Oops. Now we're going to lift this trim piece. There is some retainers that hold it in, so you're going to use a little force and pull it up. And same on this side. Pull this off. Those 2 little retainers that were holding it in. We're going to remove these 6 10mm bolts right here. We'll use a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Take that last 10mm bolt out. All right, I'm going to turn the tire to the side so that I can access these Phillips head screws right here. Use a Phillips head screwdriver. Use a stubbier Phillips head screwdriver, make it a little easier because of the tire. And there's one more on the inside there. So I'm going to turn the tire the other way to access this other screw. Oops. Pull that screw out. There's a push pin right here. So I'm going to use this trim removal tool, get under the push clip, pull that out, and I can pull this inner fender well out of my way just a little bit. Next I'm going to take this bolt out. This holds the front bumper onto the fender. I'm going to use a 7mm socket, an extension, and a ratchet. We're going to do the same for the other side. So with the vehicle raised up, we're going to take these 10mm bolts out. We have ours on a 2-post lift. You could use a jack and jack stance. I'm going to remove these bolts, these 10mm bolts with a 10mm socket, an extension, and a ratchet. All right, those are all up. Now I'm going to grab the bumper right here, and I'm going to give it a aggressive pull, like that. And do the same for the other side. Just like that. All right, it's a good idea to have a partner help you pull the bumper off. Pull this part and slide this. This rivet is what's holding the bumper still on. Just slide it up a little bit. Slide that. Slide the bumper out. And there's a wiring harness over here. It's a little lock on the connector. So we're going to pull that lock out a little bit. Then I can push down on the tab of the connector and then pull the connector out. That's the little tab, you just push that and pulls the connector out. And we have a washer fluid hose right here. I'm going to just disconnect it right here. Just grab the tube, work it back and forth. Washer fluid is going to come out of there, so you might want to cap it with a cap. Pull the bumper off. All right, so to remove the latch, before I remove the latch, I'm going to use a felt tip pen. I'm going to mark the location where the latch is so that we put it back in the same location when we take it off, so that the hood lines up properly. I'm going to use a 13mm socket, and an extension and a ratchet to take these 13mm bolts out. There's 2 of them. Next, I'm going to disconnect the electrical connector. I'm just going to push this little tab in so that I can pull the connector out. Once it's out of there, take my straight blade screwdriver, remove this lock tab from the connector, pull that back, and then I'll push down on the button, disconnect the connector. I can pull the latch up. I want a little more slack from the cable, so I'll just pull on that a little bit. I can release the ball from this area, just pull it out of the way. Next, I can use some needle nose pliers, squeeze these little tabs down for the cable, and pull the cable through. And there's the latch. To reinstall the latch, we're going to first install the cable. I'm going to slide it through this hole back here. Slide the ball through first. Pull the ball around. Slide the ball in place on the cable and push the cable through. Next, we can push the slack of the cable back in. We'll connect the electrical connector, just lock it in place, and then push down on the retainer, the lock. And we can slide this back in the hole. Get these bolts started. And we'll get the other one started. Right, before we put the front bumper back on, we would just want to test fit this. So we'll go down slowly and we're going to check it right here. Make sure it lines up. Looks like it's lining up good. We'll close it. Make sure it lines up over here. Make sure it lines up over here on the sides, and that looks good. Same with the other side. Looks good. Now we'll open the hood again. Make sure you line up the latch with your marks that you made before you took it off. And we can snug these up. All right. So now we're gonna slide our bumper back over here. We're gonna reattach this washer fluid hose. Connect that together. And then this electrical connector is gonna connect right there. Can you see it? That's gonna connect right there, line that up. Lock it in place, and then push down on the lock. Now we'll pull the bumper up. It's gonna slide in up top here. That'll lock in there. Over here on the sides, you might have to pull the bottom down a little bit. This will slide into place. Give it a little tap. Line that up. You'll do the same for the other side. Make sure it all lines up. Next, we're going to install these 3 bolts underneath. Get them all started first. Once those are started, I'm going to snug them down. Snug that one down. Next, we're going to install these bolts on the side of the bumper. It's a 7mm bolt. It's going to go right there. I'll use my 7mm socket extension and ratchet. Snug it up. And that's snugged up. Next, we'll install this push pin right there for the inner wheel housing. And then we'll put these screws, we'll get these all started so they all line up. Once those are all started, we can tighten them up. I'll use a Phillips head screwdriver, It's nice to use a shorter one so that you can get in here better. You can move the tire back and forth. Just snug those up. And then we'll do the same for the other side. All right, you can pause. Next, we're going to put these 10mm bolts in. Might have to push on the bumper a little bit to get them to line up with the holes. We'll get all these started and then we'll snug them down. Once they're all started, just use my 10mm socket and my ratchet. Just snug it down. Remember, it is plastic, so you don't want to over tighten it. Next, we'll install this trim piece. Slide this over, line it up. Once it's all lined up in the back, just push it down, lock it in place. You can install all these push clips. Next, we're going to install this weather stripping. There's little holes that these clips will line up with the holes. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull on the weather strip a little bit and slide it on the clip. And do the same for the other side. You can close the hood.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.